You are listening to SheKings with Erica and Allie. This is a podcast for peasants who don't want to live shitty lives. Every week we share insights on how to stop living out of habit and start living out of inspiration. So let's do this.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SheKings, and this is episode 48. So for those of you who don't know, we are SheKings, and every week we bring clarity to overused spiritual buzzwords and little concepts so that you can live a life with more freedom and ease. So welcome.
Yes.
It is dark 30 where I'm at.
You said Oh Dark 30?
Dark 30. Early morning. Have you ever heard that saying?
Oh my gosh, no.
Dark 30? Yeah, that's super, super early.
Oh, yeah, I believe it. But I mean, you like that. You're into waking up early for no reason.
I am. And with all of the planets doing what they're doing, and goodness, like it's been every morning just up super early. So that's my jam. So I'm glad to be here.
Maybe Asha is being controlled by the planets because she's just up all night too. So
yeah, she's got work to do. She doesn't have time to sleep.
Ruining my life work. Amazing. So how's it going?
It's going good. We may, some things are shutting down in Colorado. So I don't know if the studio is going to be next. I know some bars and restaurants are shutting back down for the next wave. So yeah, things are good. Just sitting and kind of doing my thing while I wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, staying busy, teaching a lot of yoga. Yeah, that's about it. How about you?
Also super busy. I'm doing the open meetings every 2 weeks, and then I'm also working with a speech coach and working on my book and just getting super organized. I'm taking a course on social media. I'm like literally doing all the things. I'm definitely realizing that I've spent the last year and a half or so with my coaching feeling like everything was just so unique and like how I work with my clients. And I've started to like pull back and see the commonalities. And so I'm like, there's a message here that can be a little bit more universal. So yeah, the next 6 months is like really shaping up to super focus on that, which brings us to the fact that we are going to stop at episode 50. So this is episode 48.
48.
So there'll be 2 more after this one. And then we are going to take a break, recharge.
Break, absolutely. Yeah, our summer break. I would love to say so I can go on vacation, go to a beautiful country and sit by the beach, but that's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
For anybody.
Yeah. No.
Unless you live there already. So our like Caribbean listeners, they're like, I live where you vacation.
I know, so jealous. So let's do that's my shit. Cause yeah, that's my shit. That's my shit. Four Sigmatic. I want to give a shout out to them. So Four Sigmatic, it's a company and they make all their products are mushrooms. So they have mushroom coffee, they have cacao, and so they use the healing power of mushrooms. And we partnered and did a yoga event last week, and it was really fun. Anywho, I'm actually drinking one of their coffees, or it's actually cacao, like right now. And I'm seriously the best thing ever. And I don't know if you can see. So Four Sigmatic.
Cool.
And and they have like this nighttime one that helps you like sleep. Like I love all their stuff. It's so good. So right now that's my shit. And I found them a few years ago. So it was funny when they reached out and asked if I wanted to partner with them to do a yoga thing. And I was like, Four Sigmatic? Like, yes, please. What are you talking about? I spend all my money on your products. Of course I want to. So that is my shit for right now. So cheers. Cheers, everyone.
Raise a glass to Four Sigmatic.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. You should send a link so we can include it in the show notes.
Okay, absolutely. I will do that. So what are we talking about today?
You know, it's funny because you and I both came to this episode with sort of the same idea, and it's really focusing on supporting ourselves and supporting others with processing emotions and circumstances right now. The other day, I posted on my Facebook that when you're controlled by your emotions and by life circumstances, then you don't really have free will.
I love that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it is so obvious when you write it out like that, but we are not taught that in any way, shape, or form. That if you are just responding to your anger, just lashing out because you're frustrated, then you literally have no fucking control over yourself. Like something else controls you, right? And you think about it in terms of like, I don't even remember the language anymore. Just write me off as a lawyer. But when you are those like acts of rage, when you like murder somebody because you're in a fit of rage, and it's like temporary insanity or whatever it is. And when you really think about it, it's like, so you got so angry that you like lost your fucking mind and you were acting not on free will, but on this like force that you can control. And that's everybody. We all out here acting on a force that we can't control. And like, yeah. And so it was funny because you were like, you were thinking for this episode about why we need to do the work in this time. And it's so simpatico because the reason why we need to do the work is because emotions are so insane right now, because life circumstances are so crazy right now. You got to be doing the work or you're just out here acting on your patterns. And that doesn't mean that you're murdering people necessarily, but maybe you're slipping into a depression, or maybe you're, whatever, lashing out at people, or, creating other dramas.
I've been witnessing that a lot, and I finally had to take a break from scrolling. So a gal that I went to high school with, and I really don't remember her, but she posted this racist comment on her Facebook page. And so I just responded kindly to just be like, I take offense to this. And so we got back and forth into a dialogue, and I was challenging her beliefs. And she couldn't like interact with me on the level that I was talking. And her and a couple of other of her friends, like they just went off. They were calling me a bitch, and I'm the reason that our country's the way that it is. Just rage because I challenged them. And it's just like, they're not able to process, like to just go inside and just be like, let me sit with it, let me think. And it was just lashing out to the point where I was so happy because a couple of white bodies hopped on, and then they were just like, kind of taking over for me, because I was just like, this is insane. But I've been seeing that a lot, where it's anger, it's lashing out. And I did a post on Urban Sanctuary to talk about just that. It's what is underneath the hate and rage and anger, like what's underneath it. And when we lose control of our emotions, like I know we're trying to avoid pain because pain's underneath it. You have to sit, when all that's gone, you're sitting with your fucking pain, your pain of what you went through, the pain of what's happening around you, the pain of your part that you played in it. Like everybody avoids pain. Nobody wants pain. So I'm just going to be a raving ass bitch, or as the British say, which I love, a proper cunt, and just go off on some random person.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because as I was thinking about all of this, what came to mind was the Bible verse, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And really, it soothes my heart so much
Yeah.
to align with that and with the acknowledgement that people are not in their free will. But I think that, I love what you're talking about. And I think what we all have to do, which is awakening to the fact that we are not in free will, awakening to the fact that we are hiding from our pain, meaning our shame, meaning our not being seen, meaning the neglect and dismissals and bullying and all of the things that happened, because a lot of this stuff starts in childhood. So all of the things that happened before today, all of the hurts and the slights that we experienced before today are really coloring this moment. And if, like you say, people start to do the work, then you can actually find out what it means to really have free will. What do you think it means to have free will? So we like, given the fact that we're sort of in this space of like just responding to our emotions and our avoidance of emotion, what would it look like, or what do you think it means to have free will?
To have free will is you get to pick and choose, like how you want to show up. What do you want to show up in, right? What do you want to interact with? How do you want to respond? How do you want to feel? Like that's free will. Like we have the power to pick and choose all of those things. Even when an emotion pops in and we're just like, ooh, like anger or defensiveness, we get to decide, am I going to feed it? Am I just going to just swan dive into this conversation and just be nasty and ugly? Or am I just going to be like, why am I defensive? Right? Why am I feeling hurt? That's free will, that you have 100% choice over all of that, and you get to pick and choose.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that what's interesting about it is because we're so stuck in our patterns though, a lot of times we can't see the possibility of choosing something different.
Yeah.
Um, so I could say, like, personally, one of the roles that I like to play was just being the victim. So, I'll use the example of something with my husband. Like, he says something, some offhand remark, and this, I say this in a completely non-joking way. We are like 99% sure that my husband is, are we frozen? No.
No. No, I'm like
uh,
waiting for what you're going to say. I was like, what? 90% that he's what?
that he is undiagnosed autistic.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just notice the way he responds and the way he processes. And it's funny because he actually did this thing for work, for his job, where they like had to look at his personality to like figure out how best to work with him. And it was literally like, he reads the whole thing and he was like, oh, this is what it says. I don't like this part. I don't like that part. And I'm like, all of that stuff is pretty clear. And it's actually like a pretty strong thing. But look at like how 75% of this thing is like, this guy doesn't understand people. Like, that none of that affected him. He was just like, yeah, that's true. And I'm like, like literally, like all of your space for work is like, he understands like the content, he understands the work, he doesn't understand presentation, he doesn't understand like, you know, being nice to people. And so I'm married to that guy. And so he makes some sort of offhanded comment to me. And I used to just slide into, well, it was me. How could he say that? And when I woke up to the fact that immediately I'm controlled by my emotions, he says something, my feelings are hurt, I slide into victim.
Right.
And I woke up to the fact that I did that. I literally didn't know what my other options were. I was like, well, then if I'm not going to slide into victimhood, then like, if I'm not going to get upset with him, if I'm not going to like take it 100% personally, then like, what else could I do? I
Yeah.
really couldn't understand. And so I feel like a lot of people are like that. I'm challenging, I love humanity generally, but as this whole thing is unfolding with Black Lives Matter and just people of color stepping up, one of the things that's been my main focus, I keep saying to white people, own your humanity, right? Like, wake up to the fact that if you're sleeping really well at night right now, that's tough because there's work to be done and there's shit to confront. And for people of color, I'm like, own your power, man. Like, you have got to, we don't have to respond to everything that these folks put out. We don't have to be angry and aggressive every time somebody like comes at us with something. But for a lot of folks, they're literally like, well, then what, but what else would I do? I have a friend who keeps freaking sending me videos of white people out of control. And
Yes.
I'm like, why do you keep sending me that? I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? I literally haven't heard the N-word so many times. I like literally in my life over the past like 2 weeks, just from like one person's text messages. I'm like, how do you keep watching this? And I don't think that he has an idea that he doesn't have to do it. Like just this morning, after I'm like, he's like, I know, but
Yeah.
come look at this.
Yeah. Check this one out. This is a good one. This is a doozy.
I don't want to look at it. And so, yeah, we just don't even know what the other option is.
Yeah.
Options. There's so many.
So many
what do
options.
you say about doing the work and knowing the options and,
It definitely comes from, instead of just jumping in and responding, to sit with it, to be like, and this is what I do, is I say, what is my main thing? My main thing is to pass on healing for myself, for my family, and to educate people. That's it. And so if I can do that from a place of peace, calmness, then I'm all in it. And so that is my focus. And so when you have something, if you have something going on ahead of time where you are saying, no, this is how I want to feel, regardless of what I got going on, and you stick with that, then that is absolutely everything. That is how I stay grounded in my focus. That is how I stay moving forward, motivated and moving forward, is going back to that. So, for example, I was on a good roll yesterday as far as interacting, working with the studio stuff. And I saw this post that came up, and it was, somebody had said something and it was silly. And I was like, I felt myself get really charged and I wanted to respond. But then I sat with it and I was like, why do I want to respond? Like, I don't need to respond because it doesn't match my main thing. And my main thing is to stay peaceful and mellow. And so it's just sitting with it and just kind of saying, what do I want to get out of this? Like, what is the point of interacting, or what is the point of doing this? And if it's to prove your point that you are right, then I would say step back. I would say step back.
It's so tough though.
It is
feel
tough.
That, I just want to shine a little light on the proving the point that you are right. It's a sensation. It's like an emotion in your body. It comes up so strong to say, even on tiny things, like it's something for me where I notice, I'm like, Erica, like this, no drama, not a big thing. It's just like, Erica, that's just not necessary, right? Like no one needs to know that. No one needs to just hold your tongue. But that compulsion on something so silly is so strong that I can imagine that when it's something that really is so close to your identity, that if you have that compulsion at all to be right, then yeah, it's just really, really freaking tough. I think what I would add to that, and it's, you know, I've talked about the model that my coaching course puts through, is you have these levels of energy. And that's one way that we really help people to sort of show up in different ways. So I like what you said in terms of, and it's really the same. You ask yourself, how do I want to show up? I want to show up with love and with peace, right? This is, I want to educate people if I can, but love and peace, that's my bottom line. And for me, it's the same. I'm like, peace is number one for me, right? Like inner peace, number one. But with the coaching, it's like you could show up in, what's the opportunity here for everybody?
Yeah.
You could show up in, let's pull back and have a look at this and see how all of this would work out if we went this way and tried this thing, if we went that way and tried this thing. And so I love that framework of, like you said, deciding how you want to show up. And you could give yourself a number of options of how you could show up.
Yeah.
And really starting to explore them, because right now, when we're just responding to circumstances and responding to emotion, we just feel this thing, do this, see that thing, do that. And so it's like, what if you had 1,000 options? Not just the one that is your pattern. What if you had a freaking million different things and different ways that you can handle it? Not just the one that is your pattern. And so, yeah, you sit with it, but this is something you can even prep beforehand, right? Especially if you're starting to see the same shit every day.
Every goddamn day.
Wake up, right? It's like, you know what? I could do this. I could do that. I could, whatever. Even people posting, like maybe you just go with your black ass skin and just hit like. Like, I just want you to know, I see you.
I see you, motherfucker. I'm watching you.
Right? I'm not gonna push against you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let you see yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is, and I really like the white bodies who are like really seeing themselves and who are stepping up and who are choosing a different emotion instead of guilt and shame. They're just like, just like motivated and just like enough's
Power.
enough. Like where I'm fucking doing the thing, I'm just like, I love you people.
Yeah.
I love you. And I will admit, I splurge a little and I look at the ones that when people say racist things like the mayor and like the basketball coach and they get fired. And I'm just like, I mean, that makes my heart sing a little. Mark sent me this thing and it's, if you're racist and you lose your job, it's your fault. It's like this whole little song thing. It's so good. I was like, send it to me. I'm going to listen to it over and over and over again.
And I think what's funny about that is, as much as I'm shanti about everything, I can tell you that I don't have that same reaction when I see something like that unfold. When I see something like that unfold, I'm like, oh, well, what are you gonna do about it? It's like a deep shoulder shrug. And I think to that point, right, because it is my desire to be peaceful, and because it is my desire to see everybody in joy, when I see something like that, my emotional response is my emotional response, right? And I guess I'm saying that to say there's no control over your emotional response, but there is control, however, over how you respond. Because as much as I think that people, like, if you're racist and you get fired, it's your fault, clap, clap, clap. As much as I'm like 100% down with that, I have been anti-cancel culture for such a long time. And I think that this is, we can parse it out and find nuance. But I'm like, please don't judge me for the worst fucking thing I've ever done. Please, like, at least allow me a path back to redemption. And I think that starts internally. Like, I have to forgive myself and go through my process and do that work. But notwithstanding the fact that I'm like, it's your fault, clap, 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 my conscious choice, my free will choice is to forgive them and to say, I really hope that you come through this. I really hope that you're okay. I really hope that you are embrace yourself and as a result are able to be re-embraced by, society.
Yeah.
As opposed to, because you have the choice of running deeper into it.
Oh, absolutely. And with that, I hear you. I hear you. But the people, like, I would be so, like, I'm watching myself. I pretend that there's a camera on me all the time. And I'm just like someone's watching me. Like, be careful what I say, just show up in a certain way. And that's my own internal thing that I do to make sure that I'm honoring this is how I'm going to show up. So for the people who are not seeing other people get just fired and filleted, and they are still throwing out the N word, I'm just like, read the goddamn room, not the room, read the country. Oh, I'm sorry, not the country, read the goddamn world. And if you think you still can say those things and not be on camera, I mean, you walked right into that.
But I mean, I think the part that, we're going way off subject, but for me,
Way
the
off
most shocking part about this,
No, go ahead.
for me, the most shocking part about this is the sheer number of people who see the camera in their face. I'm like, it'd be one thing if you're like, oh, someone's watching me. You're talking about a secret camera, like over there in the corner. These people, literally, the person they're abusing is like this.
Yeah.
I have a camera. I'm pointing it in your face. I'm recording this for posterity. And like, they're just like still going ham. And that, my friend, is a lack of free will.
Yes.
Because if you had any fucking free will, you would choose a different way. They're recording you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's perfect. See, we're not way off topic. What are you talking about? Those people have lost their free will, which brings us right back to what we were talking about.
Get your lives together, people. That's what that, like, final answer. We've given you the tools. They're nice and simple.
Yeah.
Sit with it and start to look at different ways that you could be responding, showing up, choosing your free will to show up in your power as you would like to, as opposed to just following your freaking pattern. Yes. And with that, what comes to mind for homework for you?
Oh my gosh, I would tell people, and I've been doing this myself. This has been my homework because I've been getting sucked into engaging with people. And the other day, man, I really let it bother me like all day, and I was exhausted. I didn't do a goddamn thing, just in my head. And I was like, stop it. Like, what are you learning from this? I would tell people to step back for at least, like, sit with it for at least 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour, and just go over those questions. What is it going to solve? How is it furthering you along on your healing path? Do you honestly think you're going to change these people's minds? Whatever it is that you want to engage in, just sit with it for a minute, if not longer, and run through those questions. Like, create your own questions that support, this is how I want to show up. I want to show up in peace. Is me interacting this way going to support that? And if it doesn't, don't do it. If it doesn't, walk away. Yeah. I mean, that would have saved my whole day on Tuesday. But I didn't. And it was a shit show.
Oh, no. So, Allie, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you guys. And we're excited for the summer. So make sure you tune in to our next episodes. And then re-listen to the ones that we already have for you. Erica, where can everybody find you?
Guys, in about, I'm going to be all the way live on Instagram. So now is the time. Erica Danielle Overshares on Instagram or Facebook, or just add me as a friend, because I do most of my stuff just on my personal page on Facebook. And Allie, you?
Allie Duncan Be Seen on all the social medias, and I am allieduncan.com for my website.
Awesome.
Yes. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Please go to iTunes, please go to YouTube, send us some love, some feedback, 5 stars. And we are excited to wrap this up for the summer and to come back with you in the fall. But 2 more episodes, so stay tuned.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.